Another part of our script writing we wanted to talk to you about is we've been talking a lot about blocking. And you might not know what blocking is. Now, blocking is when you take the script that you've written or the notes that you've written, the note cards, and you say, hey, if we want to make this into like a good presentation for the judges, where will everybody stand? Where will everybody do their parts? What actions will they make? Where will they move to? And it's a good part because you want to have movement. Because if you stand in the same place the whole time and just say your lines, it's going to get really boring for the judges. Also, if you can do costumes and props, and it goes all hand in hand with blocking, and we're going to get way into that next week.
Yeah, and like also with blocking and with the whole script, this has to do with like everything, is to find a theme, because themes make it so much more interesting. Like find a story, a theme. Like this year our theme is, because we were like talking about muscles, our theme is like working out and like, you know, getting buff and all this like high energy stuff. And we kind of have like two different areas, because we have like the yoga people who are like super calm, and then we have like the Pilates people who are like energy, oh my gosh, energy, and then we have like sweatbands and everything. So we can get more into that when it comes to props and costumes, but if you have a theme, that is like bonus points for you. So with blocking, I have a method. This is the first year I've actually used it, and I thought it was really helpful. And so what I did is, so other people were busy, so I didn't want to like take other people in when I wasn't ready, and I was taking forever to like block things. So what I did is I grabbed like sticky notes and I wrote everyone's name on it, and those were my people. So I just put it on a desk, and I kind of figured out, I looked through the script and I figured out where I wanted to put people, and then I took a picture, and then I wrote down, like, I'll show you later, but I wrote down, like, this is where spot 1 is going to be. And then that was, like, the picture I took was spot 1. So that's a really good way for blocking if you're a person who likes to do that. And blocking is also, like, choreography, except it's not, like, dancing. It can be.
It can be dancing if you want to be dancing. Dancing is hard, though. But if your team is all dancers, do it.
One thing when you're writing a script, if you don't write a script and you just want to make points, before you write the script or before you make your points, write down every single piece of information you have. Like just type it out or just write it down. You want to make sure you have everything before you start typing. I mean, if you're still planning to talk to someone but you need to write the script, then that's okay. You can just add that in later. Again, with like the drafts of how many drafts there are. As long as you have all of your ideas and all of your information down, then that's a good way to not forget anything when you're writing the script, and you can just take note of that when you're writing it.
And in your script, you want to have all your research in it. Everything you know, all the sites you've asked, all the people you've talked to, because the judges really want to see that you tried really hard to get the best possible information you can and get the absolute truth. Also, in your presentation, make sure that everybody gets like a fair amount of lines, because that's a big part of FLL is teamwork, and the judges will not think your team is very good if you just like have all your lines on one person who memorized the script, and then everybody else just kind of stands there and smiles awkwardly, because that's not very fair to the other people on your team.
So you want to make sure it's all equal, and if you do have like a shyer person on your team, then yeah, go ahead, give them the shorter lines, because they're okay with that. Like if you talk to your team about it and they're like, yeah, that's what I want, then give them what they want. Don't be like, oh no, you're getting like the super long, complicated lines, because that's just, the judges will understand, like the judges can tell like who's shyer and who's more outgoing, and they won't like disown you for that if one person has a longer line than someone else. Yeah. When it comes to actually giving the presentation, it's really important that just because the person who wrote the script wrote it in their own words doesn't mean that you have to say it exactly.
Yeah, you want to do a little bit of improv with it, work on the lines, and definitely work on tone, because how you say your lines, no matter what the line is everything. Because you can like say it like, we are here to talk to you today about how to solve problems in space. Or you can say like, we're here to talk to you today about how to solve problems in space. In the second one, there's a lot more volume and energy, and it really draws the judges into your presentation, which they will give you amazing scores for doing that.
And that will take a lot of practice. Of course, you'd probably have to like memorize before you actually give it if you want to do it with that energy. And it can always be better. You can always have more energy unless you're like crazy. But usually, if your coach, if you have like your coach helping you, and your coach is like, okay, give me as much energy as possible. If you're overdoing it, I will tell you. And let me tell you something. You're never going to overdo it. Unless you do. But
you can only make it... And another point is don't make it corny. Because if you put a little too much energy into it, it can seem very corny to the judges. And that's kind of back to what we talked to about the infomercial part. Is it's not very appealing to the judges to just go up there and be like, hey, we have a solution for you.
Unless that's like your theme, because like with the Pilates people, we have these cheesy smiles on the whole time, but that's our character. Like that's just like how we decided to perform it. And at the end, we do get neutral, and we're like, this is what we're talking to you about, and that's when we show ourselves rather than just the character we're playing.
And questions at the end of the project that the judges will ask you is another part, a big part of what will influence your script.
We have a section about that?
I don't think we have a section about that. We should have a section about that. Check in on our last video, will be on questioning. So when you write your script, make sure don't answer all the questions, because then your script will be over 5 minutes long and you'll run out of time while you're presenting. At the end of every project presentation, the judges will ask you questions, and that's a good time. Even if the judges don't ask you the question you want to answer, you can answer their question quickly and then like kind of elaborate onto what you want to talk about.
Also, huge thing, I talked about this in the last video, and you still need to do this when writing the script and when performing the presentation. Make sure you look at the rubric. If you want, we can make a video about how to look through the rubric and how to make a perfect score with the presentation through the rubric. And so if you just look at that, that is where you will be golden. And if you have all of the things on the right side, like you think you have them down to perfection, then you're down to perfection. And there might be better teams out there, but you don't know that.
The rubric is the law of the land. I mean, like, everybody has to do it.
Yeah, and not everyone realizes that they can look at the rubric. And that's something that's super important to realize, that the rubric is like a cheat sheet. It's the answers.
And don't forget the number one rule, have fun. Because if you make a script and you read it over and over and over and over and over again, it's going to get really monotone and it's not going to get fun anymore. And you're not going to want to do it. So don't abuse your script process, because you can abuse it pretty well.
I like to make my team work really hard, and if they're not doing it good enough on the presentation, I'll be like, do it again! And they get really mad at me.
It's fine. We still love her, she thinks. Check out our next video. It should be on props and costuming. There we're going to talk more about blocking and everything that has to do with like pulling your project together, presentation-wise, and giving it a more like atmospheric change, make it lighter and brighter, and the judges will love you.
I forgot to talk about something.
What did you forget to talk about, Nora?
Oh. Okay, forgot to talk about something. Okay, extra bonus. Okay, end credits. This is our rubric. It's a page of our rubric, the first 2 pages. The pink things are blocking. So basically, what I do is, like with this script, is when we come up with an idea, if we're all working together and we come up with a way to block, then we write it down. Your whole team should be doing this. Even if you already have like blocking down, once you give the script to your teammates, and when you're going through it, be like, okay, write down what you're going through, because otherwise some of your teammates might forget and they'll have to like look back on their script. And if they didn't write down the blocking on their script, they'll be like, oh, I don't know. But so yeah, just make sure that when you're when you're writing the script is or like when you're blocking, to write down where you should be going when. That's all. That's my end credit.
That's all we have for you today. Check out our next video. It's going to be on props and costuming. There we're going to talk more about like how to pull your whole presentation together and make it more of a skit for the judges, you know. make it more enjoyable for them to see, and it'll give you a lot more points on the rubric. Tune in for all our next videos. If you haven't seen our first videos, go watch them. Make sure to comment anything that you want us to elaborate on, questions, everything. We will answer them all in our videos prior to this, or previous to this, or whatever word means, like, we'll do it sometime after this, because I don't do phone. Yeah, prior's before.
Yeah, like prior.
Post.
Post
Is like after.
Okay. Thank you for coming to this week's video.
I'm out of tea.
It's
But I said facts, not tea.
That's the greatest meme ever. Here's the meme. Good job, Nora. That's more editing for you. And remember, when life gives you llamas, you make llamanade. You can copy that.
Someday I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna be bigger and even bigger. And I'm gonna get people to like me. Well, people already like me, but like me more.
I know
I'm gonna make an Instagram account. I'm gonna move to Los Angeles. And
I
I'm
want
gonna
to
be
move to
like,
LA.
take really good pictures and post them on Instagram.
I need more. We need more male models in this world.
That is true. Except we don't need more of the ones who just like stand there with their jeans low with Calvin Klein on, because we could use less of those.
Like, who did it? Didn't Noah do that? Noah's in channel.
The whole language arts class, I was looking up other ways to say weird flex, but okay. There's people who like write paragraphs of just weird flex, but okay.
Intro. Lauren looks back like.
Like, I'm trying to animate your intro.
She's in the back. Okay.
I'm gonna finish my piece of monkey bread.
Your monkey bread? Is that what it's called?
No, I don't want this food on the table. I don't like the food on the table. Get your plate off.
How you feel?
Get your plate off.
It's
Ew.
I want, yeah. If you see, I don't know if they can see the pink things. Hold it up and I'll see if I can see the pink things. Okay, I can see the pink things. Just hold it up. So the pink things are.